Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next installment of the OfferVault free training series. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, live, we hop on the webinar to answer your questions, look at your niche markets. We have a specific topic and agenda for each one of the evenings. And of course, if you miss this webinar in part, or if you missed any of the previous webinars, all of the replays are available for you on offervault.com. You just go, you click your free training link, and you're going to see all of the webinars. My name is Howie Schwartz. I've been working with Mark Roth for, wow, probably about a decade. So just thrilled to be here and managing this series with you. So if you go back here to page 2 real quick, if you're just joining us, you'll see that we've done a lot of webinars in the past, like going back, 2015, 16. So the first webinar was on the 14th of August 2018. So if you're a new affiliate, I suggest that you watch this to learn how to applying it accepted by affiliate networks. You're going to see about pay-per-call, how to get accepted by affiliate networks, how to build a list. And then we started the first part of our traffic series back in September, and this is traffic strategies for affiliates part 1. We did keyword research and pay-per-click. Part 2, this was really important. We talked about demographics and buyer personas. You want to make sure that you watch that one probably more than once. I think it's actually pretty critical that you really, really understand that. And then part 3, we talked about display campaigns. Tonight is part 4, and we're going to be talking about Facebook advertising and really kind of starting to understand what it takes to define your audiences. We're going to start talking about retargeting, as I promised we would earlier in the session, and we're going to answer your questions live and look at your niche markets. So the first thing that we do every week on OfferVault is we apply for 10 affiliate networks that you have not applied for before. So if tonight's your first night with us, no problem, just go in, you could start applying, or even better, watch the video that I mentioned, which was in the middle of August of this year on page 2 of the replay page, or kind of going back whenever you're watching this replay. And it talks about best practices to apply for an affiliate network. So I suggest you watch that, but don't hold back. Make sure you start applying for networks tonight. We have to take action. So each and every week, at a minimum, I want you guys, after you're done with the webinar, to apply for 10 affiliate networks that maybe you have not applied for before. So you can either go to the networks tab, or you can search for an offer that you might be interested in, and then click on any of the networks here to apply. Really, really important, as I always mention, that you have to apply for the networks through the OfferVault links, because we have relationships that we maintain with all of the networks, so they want to see where you're coming from. So again, that's a key piece of action that we need to take each and every week. Also, as I mentioned in the previous webinars, is we need to focus, right? The human mind cannot multitask. It switches back and forth between things. So if you haven't done it already, shut off your cell phone, shut off your Facebook notifications, don't watch email. If you're watching this on a Monday night or a Sunday or whatever, don't watch football. Let's just stay focused. And really, that to me is the best way to learn. So again, welcome tonight. This is Howie Schwartz. Great to see so many of you live, and just excited to talk about the 4th installment of our traffic series. And we're going to be focused on Facebook traffic and talking about retargeting this evening. So if you have a niche market that you'd like me to focus on, please do type it in, and I'm happy to go through that with you. So let's take a look here. So this is, I'm just looking through some of the niche markets you guys are typing in. So this is the Facebook Ad Manager, if you're not familiar with it. So make sure you have your Facebook account and set up, and then you can actually very easily start to use the Facebook Ad Manager. So let's take a look here. Good. So I see a whole bunch of markets here. Great. I'm just seeing which ones we should take a look at first. Okay, let's look at the real estate market. So, someone here is actually looking at an offer which generates leads for real estate brokers, right? So number one, what I would say is you should also look at some of the pay-per-call offers on OfferVault. You'll see many related to home services that are actually quite profitable. So I am a big fan of pay-per-call, and we actually did a webinar dedicated to pay-per-call. If you have not had a chance to look at it, it is on the replay tab. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look and understand how on Facebook we can start to target the real estate niche. Please continue typing in your niche markets, and I'm going to try to get through as many of them as I can this evening. Cool, just drinking some water. All right, let's start with it. So if you're familiar with the Facebook Ads Manager, it's excellent. I'm not going to spend, a ton of time talking about all of the bells and whistles in Facebook, just because there's so many things that you can do in your targeting and conversion tracking and optimization. And tonight we just want to talk about really the foundation in how we start planning for a Facebook AdWords campaign and to start thinking about the types of offers that you're going to promote. So this all starts with our research phase. As I've mentioned in our previous webinars, to me, one of the most important things that you can do is keep a journal. And I used to carry around a notebook. At this point, I just use a Google Sheet or Google document, and that way it's shared. I can access it on my computer at work or my laptop at home, my phone in the middle of the night, a tablet, wherever you are. So I like to take notes on everything. And I never just jump in and start randomly running ads. I start to think about, as we talked about in the previous webinars, and you can see how this is building blocks, how one webinar builds on the other, where we start to talk about and understand the behavioral and the demographics of our audience. And that's really key, is to understand the behaviors and demographics and what the interests of your audience are focused on for every niche market. And you want to spend some time planning through these stages. This is why in the previous webinars, we talked about demographics and buyer personas, and we looked at this within the lens of Google and the Google Display Network. And now we're going to take those same strategies, we're going to build upon them and look at it through the lens of advertising on Facebook. So there's some really key differences between Facebook and Google. So Google search, PPC, pay-per-click is intent driven. So someone is going to type in the Google search box that they're interested in real estate or a new home or rent an apartment, whatever it may be, and they're expressing their intent by typing in specific keywords or keyword phrases. When we think about the display advertising that we looked at on the previous webinars with Google, they can be targeted in multiple ways. One way is contextual, where we start to either target specific websites or categories of websites or topics. So someone's interested in home ownership or buying a condo, things like that. So you can start to target contextually. We also looked at using the Google suite of tools to target via audience. So start to think about people who are interested in specific topics or understanding demographics such as age and gender and home ownership and things like that, right? And income levels. So we're going to now think about how we take that lens of understanding our audience within previously Google and their display network and how we apply it to Facebook and the Facebook Ad Manager. So with Facebook, as I mentioned, is different than Google. We're not thinking about keywords. We're thinking about audiences. And we're going to talk about tonight how we do audience development on a few of your niche markets. Please continue to type them in. I'm going to try to get through as many as we can. And then we're also going to talk about tonight retargeting and how you can effectively use the power of retargeting to see, in my view, what are the strongest return on your investments and return on your ad spend. So let's get right into it. So right here, we're just going to create one ad set. Being able to name your ad group, I think, is really important. You could talk about here how you're going to build traffic. So for a website, if you're going to promote an app, if you're going to run a campaign on Facebook Messenger, we will talk about Facebook Messenger because it's very, very powerful as part of your marketing strategy in a later series. Tonight, we're just going to focus on websites. So what we can start to do is to create a new audience or a lookalike audience. And we're going to talk about lookalike audiences and retargeting afterwards. So to start here in real estate, let's start to think about what people could be interested in. So here, I was just seeing if I had a saved audience for real estate. We don't. I have some other saved audiences we can get back into. So let's go and let's create a brand new audience. So one of the key things, this is super important, that we understand the type of geo-targeting or location targeting that Facebook is doing, and this also applies to what we reviewed previously within Google. So if you have an affiliate offer that you're running that requires, and especially things in real estate often do, not only a country level of geo-targeting, but many times they'll either require certain states for you to market in, or for you to exclude certain states or even cities or even zip codes. So this is really important. So if you're working in the real estate niche as an affiliate and you're geo-targeting your offers, you want to make sure that you are targeting for people who live in this location. And the reason why is your leads will typically be rejected if someone is applying or filling out an application and they're not within the specific state or zip codes that are required. So everyone in this location, that's people who are present. So that could be people who are traveling or visitors or commuting. People who live in this location, that is, we can think about as sort of their homestead, like where's their zip code when they register for Facebook. You kind of think of it like that. Recently in this location, so someone who has been or visited that location recently, or people traveling in this location, so someone who is on vacation or business trip or things like that. And there's many reasons to use these different types of targeting, but when you have an affiliate offer that requires very granular or specific geo-targeting, you want to make sure that in that case it's people who are living in this location. And let's say we have an ad that is allowing people in New York, and let's say New Jersey, say Connecticut. All right, so let's say this is the Northeast and they're focused on 3 states that we can work on. So this is a good example here, and we're going to say people live in this location. Again, super important because it's everyone in this location. If it's this broad, you're going to start to see that some of your leads could be rejected because people may not live there. They might be visiting or traveling there. So really important. If it's an offer that works in a specific country like the whole US, then you could just leave it here, everyone in this location, or in that case, I really think, again, everyone who lives in this location, because you might have someone internationally who's traveling. So this is really important because you want to make sure that you can maximize the return on investment and return on your ad spend by geo-targeting and managing the targeting specifically to what the offer requires. Really, really important. Okay, so let's take a look at this. And again, you'll find that many real estate offers, pay-per-call, things like that, many of these offers do require this granular level of geo-targeting. Age is really important when we're thinking about the demographics and defining our audience, and marketing on Facebook. Just critical. So for a typical lead, it might say 18 plus. That's kind of the typical thing for an offer that's lead gen, and almost anything that you're doing, unless it's, a game or something like that, and they're saying you can market to under 18. In general, I'd say almost everything you're going to run is going to be 18 plus, and sometimes even older. So when we start to think about real estate here, we can start to think about home ownership. So if this is going to be, let's say a lead for realtors, right? So it's someone who, and let's say it's going to buy a home, not rent a home. So we can start to think here about ages. So what ages are people typically going to buy a home in? And for me, it could be, 24, 25, maybe a little bit older even. So I'm going to start this at 25. And then the question becomes like 65 plus, like, or are people going to be buying, new homes kind of at that age? Maybe they could be moving and whatnot. But for me, I'm thinking about more about those prime home ownership years. So I might be thinking here of like 25 to 45, or 25 to 50. And again, you want to test, and that's the beauty of Facebook, is we can test different age ranges. But to start, I want to define my audience. And you want to start with something that's not so narrow, where it's like 18 to 19 years old or 25 to 26-year-old in like 3 states where there's no reach or no traffic. But you do want to make sure that you are not narrowly defining your audience too much, where again there's no reach. You want to make sure that your audience targeting is specific enough that out of the gate you have the most likelihood of success. And then again, you can start to tighten this up and run a campaign for more limited age range. Or what you can do is, broaden it and even think about a wider age range. So for something like real estate, gender all would make the most sense. I have seen offers, many offers, that gender targeting is critical. We will talk about, we can talk about diet, we can talk about health. There's other things that we could talk about, tonight on the webinar, and look at some of your other niches. So there's many offers that gender targeting as part of your demographics is really critical to succeed. For something like, this real estate home ownership, gender both makes the most sense. In this case, languages, let's say this offer is English specific. So again, it could be English all, English UK. This is a US offer. Type in English US. Typically it doesn't matter if you're geo targeting in the US. You could say English all, but again, I'm usually pretty specific here where I can be. So the next thing that we can start to think about is the detailed targeting. So understanding the interests, behaviors, and additional demographics. So first of all, let's see here any questions. All right, let's see here. All right, so Juan's asking, if there's a national campaign, should we start in one state and then expand to nationwide, or start with nationwide? So if it's an offer that works across the whole entire U.S., I would typically start nationwide, and then I would let Facebook do the work for us, and they'll start to optimize in the regions, the cities, the states that will build the best engagement that will meet your goals, right? So Facebook does an amazing job today. We're going to talk about that more tonight in really kind of optimizing out to geolocation, time of day, things like that. It's just pretty amazing that when you give Facebook enough time and some budget, what they can do, right, in the optimization automatically with their algorithm. But I like to start by, giving it a direction, right? And I like to test what I'm thinking is going to work in the market, and then let Facebook optimize it down with their algorithm. So it's a great question. So to me, if it's an offer that works in a specific country, I would run the whole US, and then we could take a look at things like the reporting within Facebook, and in the future Facebook analytics, and then you can optimize down from there. But that's a great question. Okay, so now what we can start to think about here is we can think about home ownership, we can think about real estate. So as we start to type in here, like real estate, we can see this is in a business and industry, and we can start to see suggestions. So we could see house hunting, Zillow, Trulio, new house, first time buyer. So to me, this is really important. So would I search for such a broad topic like real estate? And the answer is maybe. And that's one of the interesting things with Facebook is sometimes you can start with such a really broad interest topic, and then Facebook will optimize it with their algorithm down to your goals. To me, in my first campaigns, I usually like to start a little bit tighter and more specific, and then we can broaden it out afterwards. So again, I'm writing this all down in my Google Doc or in your notebook or something like that, what the opportunities are and the type of targeting that we're doing. So to start with, I'm actually going to get rid of real estate here and look at suggestions. So for me, I'm actually thinking that I'm going to stay away from development, from investing, from luxury real estate, from appraisals. So Trulia can work. That's a site like Zillow. So real estate manager, broker, transaction, entrepreneur. So again, a lot of these keywords we're going to keep away from. So let's take a look here. Let's look at Trulia. Let's see if there's anyone else here that we think is a good fit. So let's say new home. So this is a really good point. I'm just reading some of the questions as I'm typing in. These broad topics are not going to be your audience, right? So if we're trying to find a consumer who is interested in buying a home or buying their first home, then it doesn't make sense for things like real estate development or investment or real estate trust, real estate broker. Those are not interests or categories that are going to fit for this type of offer. So let's see here, new home purchase behavior, engaged shopper. Nope, I don't like that. So new home, that can work. Buy a home, let's see about that. So again, we're starting here and we're looking to see how Facebook is going to help us kind of on this journey. So we look at competitive sites. So Zillow is definitely a good one as a competitive site. So people who are interested in Trulia, interested in Zillow. Let's take a look here at trusty old Google. Let's come up with some other brands. Here's Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia we have. Homes for sale, homes for rent. See what else is coming up here. Nope, sales is too broad. So let's see here. First time buyer. House, let's see here. No, these are mobile users. We don't want to see that. So first time buyer is kind of interesting. First time home buyer. Let's start here. Let's see how big our audience is. So we can reach 3 million people in these 3 states. So again, we're making an assumption here that the offer that you're running is geographically restricted or limited to those 3 states. So we're at 3 million people. And for me, I'd like to see 1 million people plus in your audience. I think this is pretty good. Let's see for the fun of it, if we increase this a little bit to 55, what happens? So as your audience size increases to 3.6. And then what we could do here, this is really interesting, is we can expand the interests where it's going to allow us to be able to reach more people at a lower cost per click. So I will do this to start when I have an audience that is below 1 million users. So since I'm above 1 million users here, I'm typically not going to click expand interests. What I would do is I would save this audience. And then after I save the audience, I would clone this campaign or ad set. And then in the second campaign, I would then click expand interests. And the reason why is that would basically allow me to have better, not necessarily control, because in this case, kind of Facebook's in control, is to be able to optimize and test and see which one of those 2 campaigns are performing better. So I do like to use this expand interests, but I'm typically going to run 2 campaigns at once, one with that feature and one without. Okay, let's take a look here. So someone's saying first time buyer. So what was interesting is when we typed in first time buyer, that's what I was typing in before. It'd be interesting to see if this is kind of real estate based, or if this is more general. So we can start to think here on to narrow the audience. So this is interesting. So when you narrow an audience, you could also exclude an audience. Let's type in first time buyer here. So basically, this is an and. If you can think about it as a Boolean, it's an and. So this is going to be people who are interested in new home, Trulia. This is or. So new home or Trulia real estate or Zillow in these 3 states from this age range, and who are interested in first time buyer. And now all of a sudden, this is down to 46,000 people, which to me is too narrow. So then we can start to take a look here. And we can expand the interests. And now we're up to, wow, 14 million. That's a huge difference. So interesting. So for me, I don't usually like to run that broad of an audience to start. It's amazing how this kind of jumped in. So to start here, I think 46,000 people is probably too narrow. Would I test this? Maybe. But again, I wouldn't run this as its own campaign. I might clone the previous ad group and then run this campaign also with this tight targeting. And again, this is really, really granular targeting. So you definitely want to pay attention to your audience size and what your reach is here. So again, 46,000 people is not impossible, but this is pretty granular campaign with some pretty tight reach. Okay, good. Let's take a look. Let's do another market. Oh, that's interesting. So Brian had a good suggestion. We can start to think about just married. So if you're looking at first time ownership, let's try that. Runaway Bride, the film. That's funny. So now we're just married. And now you're at 21,000 people. So again, just really, really narrow. If we expand it, again, it just jumps right up. For the fun of it, let's see if we do first time buyer and married, probably even smaller at this point. So you start to see here how we get more and more narrow. Sorry, a little bit broader. Actually, we're adding these two, right? So it's first time buyer or just married and this targeting. So again, we're at 67,000. So, could you try this audience? Sure. So again, you can create the campaign that we had before, clone it, right? Clone your campaign to your ad set, and then we can add your first time buyer and or just married, and start to see how this is going to work. And this is kind of the beauty of Facebook advertising. You literally could sit here for an hour and just start to think about different audiences, different demographics, excluding certain people. So maybe what we could do here is also think about some exclusions, right? So you can exclude people who are, let's try like rents apartment or renting, right? So let's say if we exclude renting, so that could work too. So, we can start to think here how to narrow that down. But again, now we're down to 30,000 people. So you want to be careful in how you're setting up your targeting, that you're not bringing it down, that it's just too small where the ads aren't going to run or there just won't be enough reach. So again, just kind of interesting when we start to think about narrowing an audience, which is requiring an additional kind of layer of demographics or interest if you think about it. Now we could also start to exclude people, right? Okay, good. Let's pick another market. All right, let's see here. Lots of really good ones here. Okay, so drug and alcohol addiction. So that's a great niche market. Let's jump back real quick and we're going to talk about the ad setup here in Facebook for you. First, let's take a look at OfferVault. This is a great market. And if you click on the pay-per-call tab, there's typically multiple offers in this niche. So we start here, rehab addict, $75. And again, there's many, many offers here. So if we start to scroll down, it's really likely that you're actually going to find multiple ones to run, which is pretty exciting. So this is a niche area, nationwide drug and alcohol rehab. So again, as I mentioned, you'll be able to find multiple offers here. So this is a really strong niche market, not only for the more typical lead generation that you might be thinking about, but also specifically for pay-per-call, which can work really, really well. Okay, let's hop back into Facebook. Again, please continue typing in questions, and please continue typing in your niche markets also. Let's see here. So what you'll find is that in pay-per-call or lead gen offers, as I mentioned, many times there are specific geographic requirements and exclusions. So let's say excludes. So let's say it doesn't like what state. I don't want to pick on any state. Let's say for some reason they don't like Delaware. It's a nice state, but it happens, right? So let's say that they don't like Delaware. So we can say we're going to include the United States. So we have to start with that. So we're going to include the United States. People live in this location. And then we're going to exclude the state of Delaware. Again, not picking on anyone who's in Delaware. So this would run basically in 49 states, right, out of the 50 states. So again, it's important to understand how we can include and exclude traffic, and always pay attention to that for any offers that you're running. So, so important. So now we can start to think about, again, the demographics for a market or an offer like drug and alcohol, rehab or sort of addiction help. So you can think about the ages. So who's likely to have an interest in this? Is it a parent or a spouse who's trying to help someone? Is this someone trying to help themselves? So does 18 plus make sense here? Is this something that 21 plus makes more sense, and what ages. So let's say here, and again, it could be broader, but let's say we're going to start here from 21 to 35. And many times, as I mentioned, is I'll create a campaign or an ad set in Facebook, I'll clone it, and then I will add different targeting or modify the targeting of demographics in the next campaign, and I'll run multiple campaigns, and we'll see which ones are working the best, and then kind of optimize from there. So again, gender all men and women, language English, and let's say that the offer allowed Spanish and English. We can run both here. Again, make sure you're double checking what your landing pages are, and or if it's pay per call, what they're supporting. So let's say it's a bilingual call center for this. All right, let's clear our interests. So we could say AA for Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's try addiction. So behavioral addiction. Let's see if they're going to allow us to target this or not. So again, there's going to definitely be certain niches that Google or Facebook will or will not allow. So interesting. So I wonder if they will let us actually run for this type of offer or not. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's alcohol, but that's not what we want to run. We don't want to run people who are interested in alcohol. We're trying to run for addictions here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering if so we'll have to take another look at this one offline. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We'll have to see if Facebook's going to permit it. It's really important to note that for a lot of markets that you might be interested in advertising, you have to check if Google and or Facebook permit it. So you know what? We're going to move on to another niche here, just because again, I'm just not sure if they're going to allow it. So let's see. So Ned is saying DAA. Let's see what's coming up for that. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So okay, so so we'll have to take a look offline and see kind of what Facebook is or Google is permitting for that. All right, so Kiki wants to take a look at the baby niche and diapers. So let's go there. We know Facebook is going to allow that. So again, that happens. I'm actually glad we kind of went through that, because it's really important to check and see if the markets that you're in, if Facebook is permitting or Google is permitting those type of campaigns before you're running them. Okay, so let's take a look here, and let's take a look at an offer that is related to new parents and babies. So this is running in the United States. Let's take a look at ages. So again, we want to think about the average age of parents. So let's start thinking here. Are they 25, 26, 27? So let's say 25 to 35. And since we haven't done any gender targeting yet, let's look at women. Let's look at English only for this right now. And again, you could obviously target new dads for parents also, but let's do a campaign that's targeted specifically towards women. Let's see, moms, mothers. So you can be broad here and say something like mom. Let's see about new baby. Let's see what pops up. There we go. New baby. So mom might be too broad. Be interesting though. new baby products, baby shower, baby food. So again, you can start to go through here, baby bottle, baby sitting. Again, not everything is going to be relevant. So if we take a look at women in the United States who are 25 to 35, diaper, new baby, baby products, 3.9 million people. So this is a pretty broad audience. And again, we can start to narrow it, we can exclude it, you can clone a campaign, and then when you clone the campaign, you can expand the interest. And again, we're at 33 million, which is just a huge, huge kind of broad audience. Okay, good. Let's take a look. Let's do another market. So that one is just a great way to start to think about, just to start very broad and let Facebook do our optimization. Let's actually limit this a little bit more. So let's take to narrow the audience, and let's type in diaper here. So again, now we're at new baby, baby products, and have to require diaper. Now we're less than 1,000 people, right? So that is just too narrow. Let's take here, let's add baby food, still 1,000 people. So again, you start to see when we narrow it, starts to just become sometimes just way, way too narrow. So, I would start here. There we go. And again, we start to see much, much broader audiences. So that's a really important tip and really important strategy, is not to narrow your audiences down too much, because then again, the campaigns won't run or you just won't get enough reach. Okay, good. Glad we looked at one that had some gender targeting. So Ned's asking, can you use brand names? So yeah, so many times you'll see brand names that are available. So things like Pampers, Gerber, right? So many times you will start to see how brand names can be included in the interests within Facebook. So great, great question. All right, let's see if there's any other markets here or if we're going to jump right into retargeting. Let's do that. Okay, so let's talk about, before we talk about the concept of retargeting, let's talk a little bit about the image specifications for Facebook. So Facebook, you want to make sure that you have an image that not only works and draws attention to your ad, you want to make sure that you understand the specific image ratios and sizes that Facebook requires. And one of the key elements here is the percentage of text that can be experienced in the ad. Facebook is just critical about this, and they do this automatically. They have screening tools. So if you upload an image with many with a high percentage of text, they're actually going to either state that this image will not get ad will not get enough reach, or they're just going to reject the image outright. So it's really important that you use Facebook's tool. If you just Google Facebook text overlay, you could use this free tool, and Facebook will let you know for each one of the ads that you upload if the percentage of image text present is acceptable to run. And again, this is something that's critical to do each time, because you will not even be able to run your campaign, or it will not get any traffic or minimal traffic if you do not pay attention to this and if you have too much ad text in here. So just really important to understand the type of ads that Facebook is running. So this is another great tool. So if you just Google Facebook's business ad guide, you can start to take a look and understand the different types of ads that are available on Instagram and Facebook. And again, on a future webinar, we're going to talk a little bit more about targeting for Instagram, and we'll talk about Messenger in the future also. But for now, I think it's good for us to kind of just start thinking about Facebook as a whole. So I'm getting some other questions about prohibited categories, and again, that happens on Facebook. What you're going to find is that Facebook and Google from time to time is just going to change the rules. They're going to change what they allow you to run and what they don't allow you to run. And that doesn't mean that you should not try to market in that niche. It means that there's going to be certain markets that will just not work on or not be permitted on Facebook or Google. Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit about retargeting. So retargeting, the best way to describe it, and I think the classic example, is that you look at a pair of shoes on Amazon or Zappos, and then for the next 2 or 3 weeks, every website that you're on, New York Times, weather.com, whatever it is, you see those pair of shoes and you feel like they're following you around the internet. So let's just, for the fun of it, let's go to weather.com. I bet you we can find a retargeting ad here. And that's what people say, like, why are these ads following me around the web? And that's what retargeting is about. So retargeting is very, very effective in Facebook. And you're able to set different rules and set the Facebook pixels for the visitors that you're driving to your site to be able to run a retargeting ad to bring them back to a specific page, a collection, a specific offer. So this is a case where I was looking at sneakers for my kid, and you start to see how these ads are following me all around. So if you're running on weather.com, I bet you're going to see completely different ads. So I could tell you I was on Stadium Goods. I could tell you I was looking at Easy's here. And I could tell you that I was recently at an Extended Stay America that I was looking at. So these are sort of a good classic example of retargeting ads. So what I love about retargeting ads is this is a way to re-engage your audience. And in most markets, to get someone to buy, you need 7 touches. You need to be able to touch a consumer, to present your offer 7 times. For lead generation offers, pay-per-call, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more based on the complexity of the form or the type of market that you're in. And a lot of this is building trust and confidence in the consumer. When they see your brand again, it increases the trust level and it really increases your conversion rates. So I'd say the majority of campaigns that we run, retargeting is going to be the most profitable and have the highest return on ad spend. So the one challenge with retargeting is you need a user base to start with. So you can't run a retargeting campaign fresh, from the gates. Is you need to run some of the other campaign types that we talked about, and then and only then can you start to run retargeting campaigns, and you're able to bring those users very efficiently back. So for me, whenever I'm setting up a campaign, I'm planning my Facebook pixels and I'm thinking about retargeting from day one. I don't add retargeting into the mix, a month out, 2 months out, or in the future. I think about retargeting as part of, again, my foundation strategy and what I'm doing in Facebook, and I set that up for day one. Lots of really good, very easy setup guides on how to add your Facebook pixel. So we're not going to go into that tonight. Just Facebook does a great job on training content on how to do that. So really important from day one when you're starting to launch your campaigns that you set your pixels and that you're running retargeting campaigns, because that's going to be the most effective and efficient return on your ad spend. And for me, I run retargeting on Facebook. I do also run retargeting on Google. Someone was asking. But if you're just starting out, it's great to just kind of focus on one traffic source, and you can just start running retargeting on Facebook. That's perfectly fine. Okay, awesome. So we are at the end of our session tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed and hope you guys learned not only how to run a Facebook ad, but very important, again, how to get into the foundation of understanding the audience, understanding demographics, understanding interests, and to realize, how we can define our audience where, again, it's sort of like Goldilocks. It's not too big, not too small. It's just the right size. And that's what Facebook is awesome at. So again, take action, start your Facebook campaigns, plan your retargeting campaigns from day one, plan out your pixels, super important. And just again, take action, start advertising, start testing, track everything, write down in your Google Doc everything that you're doing. And like I say every week, make sure you sign up for 10 affiliate networks from OfferVault each and every week. That's one of the most important things that you can do. And that just opens up so many more opportunities for you. Awesome. Thanks again, everyone. This is Howie Schwartz. I hope you enjoyed this traffic session. If you're just joining us late, the replay will be available for you on the membership site. We typically post replays the next morning after a session. And again, our live sessions are Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We hope that you can join live so we can answer your questions. And please do go through all of our replays. So much awesome content. Again, everyone, thanks from OfferVault. Have a great night and take action.